Just walk me through what Congress has done with this bill.
So really, there's two major things that we're pointing to our clients. The first is it raises what's called the SIFI threshold from $50 billion to $250 billion. Now, what that does for the regional banks, if you're between $50 to $100 billion, you get out of stress testing, or at least the mandated stress testing by the Fed, and also enhanced prudential standards. If you're $100 billion to $250, you get out of the modified stress testing, but the Fed has to come back and tell you, okay, here what else is what you have to adhere to. You're looking at probably savings in terms of compliance costs between in the tens of millions for the smaller banks up to hundreds of millions for the larger banks. The other thing that it does is that it gives substantial leverage ratio relief to custodial banks, namely State Street and Bank of New York. It allows you to take out client deposits held at the ECB and the Fed, and this is something that they've been seeking for some time. What it doesn't do, however, is that it doesn't really change much for PNC, U.S. Bank, Capital One, the banks that are just above that $250 billion threshold. They're going to have to adhere to the same regulatory regime as they always have. Nor does the bill actually really do much to the large investment banks. Doesn't tinker all that much with the Volcker rule when it comes to them, nor does it change the Basel or capital regulatory framework. So those changes are going to still have to come from the regulators.
Nathan, to some extent, it is a campaign promise fulfilled. The president did promise to do a big number on Dodd-Frank. Is this the big number? Is this the extent of it? Do they go any further?
No, so this is only just part of what he would call the big number. You know, to get quick relief, you need an act of Congress. And this bill has been debated since 2015. You know, the Republicans wanted a $500 billion threshold. They got $250. The substantial relief to Dodd-Frank is going to come from the regulatory agencies. You know, the Fed, the OCC, the FDIC, the SEC, and the CFTC. Now, they've already put out a proposal on leverage ratio. They've already put out a proposal changing the CCAR, the capital review. They've put out a proposal calling what's for a stress capital buffer. And we're expecting a Volcker rule proposal to come out sometime in the next few weeks. Take all of that combined, you are going to get relief for the large investment banks. But ultimately, Dodd-Frank is still going to be here. This bill doesn't roll back Dodd-Frank, and the framework of Dodd-Frank is still going to remain on the banking system.